It's a divine life on the road, especially when those divinely open roads roll through Tuscany. Meet Clara Jean Howard, a domestic diva whose entertaining expertise is sadly lacking in one very important area. When it comes to wine, Clara knows next to nothing. And this is Clara's sister, Peggy Perry, a renowned wine connoisseur and educator who loves nothing more than to share her passion and wisdom over a glass of her beloved beverage. Our divine duo was motoring to the Montepulciano region of Tuscany and the vineyards of Carpineto.
Oh, beautiful!
Here, endless sunny skies and parched rolling hills provide perfect conditions for the creation of Carpineto's sought-after Super Tuscans.
Eccoli, eccoli, ciao!
And who's the man with the warm Tuscan greeting? Antonio Zaccheo Jr.
Maggie, what a pleasure to see you again.
What a pleasure for us to be here in Tuscany.
Good
nice
to see you again. Did you have a good trip?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Meet my sister. This is Clara.
Ciao, Clara. Ciao.
Antonio.
Che piacere.
Piacere.
Come stai?
Muy bene.
Hai fatto un buon viaggio?
Grazie.
You did such a good job driving this little car.
I love this car.
Well, welcome to Carpineto at our Vino Nobile estate in Montepulciano.
One of the most famous wines of Italy.
Exactly.
Are we going to get to taste it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Later on. First,
Right.
we're going to go try something else, very special.
Okay.
Follow me.
Okay. Thank you.
This is our Vinsanto room. And we have Caterina waiting for us.
Ah, ciao, Caterina.
And she is the daughter of the co-founder of Carpineto.
And Caterina does indeed have a special treat, Vinsanto. For Clara, this is something new.
Is Vinsanto like a port?
No, it's not like a port because port is fortified. This is a wine that is made by drying the grapes from our oldest vineyards.
I just love the aroma. What do you think? It is.
Good acidity.
It's a good
Good acidity. Okay, great. Good acidity, Antonio.
It's always hard to taste such a unique beverage the first time, Antonio, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
I was expecting a wine. I guess it's different than wine.
The acids generate a saliva coming off the sides of your tongue. So your tongue's weeping off the side. That tells you whether it's a low acid wine, medium or high. This one's quite high. So that's interesting because as Antonio said, the grapes are dried, right? So it's a very complex wine because how do you dry a grape, turn it into a raisin, and keep those high levels of acid?
At Carpineto, hard work and good fruit seem to be the keys to creating great wines, like the classic Italian varietal contained in these tanks.
But this is a tank in which we make the canaiolo for Vino Novello.
The new wine of the vintage.
The new wine of the vintage. And for us, who specialize mostly in aged wines, being able to taste something that's only a month old is the equivalent of immediate gratification.
Patience is definitely a virtue in making great wine, and good things definitely come to those who wait.
The big dog.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Is this a popular wine for you?
It's a 3 liter, yeah. This is rapidly become our #1 selling wine in the world. Just because it is a young Super Tuscan. CNN on primetime declared this the best wine with Thanksgiving dinner.
People are buying this size.
Well,
This is
because
huge.
families get together. And so, you can only
right.
open one bottle.
At Carpineto, it seems that big wines demand big bottles and bigger barrels. Caterina leads the group to an exclusive area in the barrel cellar for a very special tasting.
So what kind of grapes are you using for the
Well, this is Sangiovese, which in this region is called Prunello Gentile.
Profumo ancora assente, è un vino ancora giovane,
It's a young wine, yeah?
che non è stato molto in botte e ancora non si sente molto l'odore di legno.
I like that part. I always enjoy that.
Grazie. Thank you.
Isn't it delicious? Like, I noticed this wine doesn't have a lot of tannin. How much of that sort of very popular, toasty, note are you looking for in this wine?
Her father's philosophy, Giancarlo, says we're not in the lumber business. So then, our winery's philosophy is really to showcase the beautiful red fruit flavors that are innately present in the Sangiovese.
When Divine Life returns, a trip to the terroir and Tuscany's ancient past.
I didn't realize having a little taste of Vinsanto was a way of welcoming people. I've always thought of it as an after-dinner drink.
Antonio explained, what this wine was and the condition that it was in. It all made sense.
This Carpineto Vinsanto sees a lot of barrel aging. The one we tasted today was over 14 years old.
The tiny village of Duda is located in the heart of the Chianti Classico region. These beautiful hills are home to Carpineto's winemaking headquarters and its original vineyards.
And it was purchased by that church you see down there. It was property of that church. And in 1967, when Giancarlo Sachet and Antonio Zaccheo, my father, decided that they wanted to make, world-class Sangiovese, well, then we went to the church. They agreed on a price, and this adventure called Carpineto was born. We specialize in hillside farming and dry farming. So as you can see, it's just bare rocks.
Yeah.
The vines, they struggle, to find any topsoil at all. And this is topsoil called galestro.
Galestro.
Which is typical of Chianti Classico.
So this is Sangiovese, this vine. And you say you started in 1967, but would these vines be older than that?
Well, this was actually barren land when we got it from the church, and we replanted it. This has just been replanted about 3 and 4 years ago.
Antonio, a lot of wineries, including your own in Montepulciano, they've moved into high-density planting. When you replanted this 3 years ago, why didn't you go the high-density route? It was already starting to take hold here, wasn't it?
Absolutely, but sometimes the terrain is such that it is just too difficult to go high density. This is already much denser than the original plantings. What we must realize is Sangiovese is a big family. And of course, big families have a lot of variation. Well, what we have here is a vineyard planted about 5 years ago. Of course, it's a Sangiovese vineyard. And we plant them this closely because what we're looking for here is high concentration in the wine. And of course, to manage this vineyard, you have to use over-the-row equipment for topping and for cultivating the soil. We've kept the vines quite low to the ground. This, of course, creates a lot of root zone competition. This vineyard 5 million years ago was underwater, but we also have the ability to find fossils. And if we're lucky enough, we can walk through some of these rows and look for them. What do you think? Here's one. Look at this. The tractor just tilled this morning and uncovered this beautiful fossil. It's, I would say, it's an oyster. Now instead of going fishing, we can have vineyards here, and this is wonderful.
I'm still confused about some of the vineyards we've seen would be pure Sangiovese, so that's because they're going to maybe include that variety in with another mix.
They're new.
Oh.
This is a 40-year-old vineyard,
Okay.
and so that's why we came up to see it, because we're talking very traditional vines and vineyard practices.
It's quite a project because, before you know that you're right or wrong, it takes, 10, 15 years.
So this is about 40 years old, Antonio?
Yes, it is, and it's a Sangiovese vine. Behind you is a vine of Canaiolo, and this is a testament to the fact that back in the old days, vineyards were not planted to 100% varietal. So what we have here is a leaf of Canaiolo and a leaf, of course, of Sangiovese. The differences you can see are, of course, in the shape.
Nel Sangiovese non c'è, prende una foglia della stessa, all'incirca della stessa età. Perché queste sono due foglie abbastanza
There's
già.
lots of differences once you start looking.
The feel is quite different. This is
Rugosa.
molto più rugoso. Molto più
There's more wrinkles.
La differenza si nota anche nella foglia. La foglia del canaiolo è molto più seghettata e si formano i due lembi inferiori, formano all'interno in fondo una lembe. Cosa che nel Sangiovese è molto più allargata e più aperta. It's amazing how different they
They are so different, and I
But of
never
course,
had noticed.
when you go into the vineyards and the fruit is ripe, then you can, of course, see it and taste the difference.
Next on Divine Life, there's a kale family tree and more unique flavors.